A deck tech for Team Mana Gaming of Legacy, Death and Taxes. It's a deck I've made myself. I think it's pretty good. There are a couple of changes that need to be made, but I'm going to test it. We have 3 Mother of Ruins. I know most people play 4, but in the aggro matchups it's not that great, and I just feel like sometimes it can be too slow. So I'm playing 3, and this gives protection to your creature when you tap it from a colour, so it's not bad, but you know, 3 is fine. And then we have 4 Aether Vials, which, you know, allows you to play stuff like your Flicker Wisps at instant speed and stuff like that. So it's not a bad card. It's one of the best cards in the deck. So you know, it's really good. And then we have 4 Swords to Plowshares as well, which is the best white removal spell in Legacy. So 4 of those, of course, and those are our 1-drops. And 2-drops, we have quite a few of those.
So is this a low mana costing deck then?
Most of it, yeah. I play a couple of high costing. I play a couple of high costing mana cost cards, just because sometimes I like to play spicy cards that people might not necessarily agree with, but I think they're quite good. So you know, we've got Umazal's Jitte, which of course is a great equipment. 2 Phyrexian Revokers.
What do they do?
So Phyrexian Revoker, when it enters, you name a non-land card, and activated abilities of sources with a chosen name can't be activated.
Right.
So it stops stuff like Planeswalkers or stuff like that. So you know, Jason Mind Sculptor and cards like that, which are heavily played in the format. 4 Stoneforge Mystics, which you know is really good with the equipment. You play Batterskull, Sword, Fire and Ice, Jit, so it searches all of those, and you know gets you good value. 2 Thalias instead of 4. Just because I like a 2-2 split of Grand Abolisher and Thalia, just because I feel like Grand Abolisher stops your opponents from doing a lot of things in your turn, which I think is really relevant in the format at the moment. So it's 2 Thalias, 2 Grand Abolishers, which I just talked about, and then 2 Serra Avenger, which obviously is just, you know, a generic creature you play in the deck. Then you have, in the 3-drop slot, you have 2 Brightling, which is a very recent card. Obviously in the deck before you played Mirran Crusader, but this card is just much better. Gaining the life and the vigilance and the fact that it's very hard to remove means it's just such a good card in the deck. 1 Sanctum Prelate, 1 Recruiter of the Guard, 1 Thalia, Heretic Cathar, 1 Sword of Fire and Ice, 1 Brumaz, and 2 Flicker Wisps. So I currently don't own 4 Flicker Wisps, so the Thalia and the Brumaz are replacing Flicker Wisp at the moment, but these will become Flicker Wisps when I get them.
So do they do the same sort of thing as the Flicker Wisp?
No.
Okay, so why have you included those in the deck?
Just because Brumaz gives you game against the aggro and the control decks, so you play it and it's just a beat stick, so they can't really you play it and it's a threat, which they're going to struggle with, and Thalia slows the control decks down.
Right.
So that's the 3-drop slot. Then you have 1 Shalai, which is supposed to be a Palace Jailer, but I'm playing this because I think it's good because if you have hexproof in your creatures, and there's a lot of removal in the format at the moment, so I think the creature control have hexproof is quite relevant, so I like this card. But obviously it's supposed to be a Palace Jailer because Palace Jailer is really, really good. So yeah. 1 Batterskull, which is expected, and then the 2 spice cards that I like to play, Archangel Avacyn and Lyra Dawnbringer. These are very unusual cards for a Legacy deck, but I personally think they're quite good at the moment. They give you game against Eldrazi and Grixis Delver, just because they're quite hard to remove and they give you more sort of long game value, which is really good in Legacy at the moment, I think. And the lands, I play 5 Snow-Covered Plains. Now this is for Predict, for against Miracles, so if someone predicts you, they're obviously going to name plains, so you play Snow-Covered Plains as well, so it's harder for them to predict you.
Nice.
Then you play 6 basic plains, which, you know, don't really need to talk about those. 2 Karakas, which should be 3, but I currently don't own 3, so I'm playing Horizon Canopy instead, just because of the extra card draw. and this card's really good at the moment as well because of all of the Dark Depths running around. 2 Horizon Canopy, as I said earlier, for the card draw. You know, obviously the deck normally plays 1, but I play 2, so you know, that's just a flex slot. And then 4 Wasteland, which, you know, everyone expects in Death and Taxes. It's what it's known for. And then finally, in the main deck, 4 Rasheen Ports, which is obviously just a super good card for against any deck that plays land. So, you know, slowing your opponent down, tapping the land is all really good. So I think, you know, it's a very powerful card, and I think every Death and Taxes list should have 4 of them. Now we move on to the sideboard. I play 1 Teferi's Protection because I think it's super good in the format at the moment for against Miracles and just any deck that, you know, is going to kill you. You just play Teferi's Protection so you can't lose against Eldrazi, against Burn, against Death and Taxes. You just play it and they can't kill your stuff, so it's really good, really relevant at the moment, and not enough people play this card. I highly recommend that more people put this card in their deck. Then we have 1 Set of the Wreckage, which is another unusual choice, but it's for decks against like Eldrazi or Death and Taxes again, just to sort of, you know, so you have a mass board wipe that your opponent's not expecting you to play, just a bit of a tech that they're not used to. So, you know, 1 Cataclysm, which is standard, 2 Council's Judgment, which is also standard, 2 Aethersworn Canonists, again standard, Gideon Ally of Zendikar, which gives you a very good aggro game, and then you have 2 Surgical Extractions, which can be a flex slot, 2 Rest in Peace, and 2 Past Exile, and that is the 75th of the Legacy Death and Taxes list that I built. I will be uploading another deck tech in a couple of weeks when I have the cards, so you guys can see the changes I made, and I'm playing a Legacy tournament tonight, so I'll let you know how I do.